This podcast is part of the Batman Universe Podcast Network, hosted by the BatmanUniverse.net. Check out everything related to Batman and the entire Bat family at the BatmanUniverse.net, including news and original content related to comics, movies, television, merchandise, video games, and more. Also, check out some of the other unique podcasts that TBU has to offer. Consider supporting this podcast by becoming a patron on Patreon. Even $1 can go a long way in supporting this content that you enjoy. Look for a link over at thebatmanuniverse.net to offer your support now. And now, on with the show.
We can't just kill everyone.
That is exactly what we're gonna do.
We're even now.
Holy.
Why are you doing this? Because I want back in, so I need her gone.
They took Ryan.
Don't you worry, I won't find your son.
We are your heroes. We are here to serve and protect you.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 207 of Tim, former GameStop employee. My name is Tim, and to quote The Dark Knight Returns, boy, are you in for a show tonight, because making his grand return is none other than Dane. Dane, welcome back.
I know it's been a long time, Tim. I didn't know what to do with myself, to be honest.
There's just that missing gap in your life that when you haven't been recording with me these last. You were mentioning almost over 2 months now since we recorded an episode together. But yeah, good to have you back. I want to give thanks to Paul for joining me on these last two episodes. We had some fun discussions, but it's great to have you back, Dane, and to have the original dynamic duo of this podcast for an episode.
Yeah. Paul is like, I'd say, Tim Drake, right? And I'm Dick Grayson. So, yeah,
that is a good analogy. And he would love that because Tim Drake is his favorite Robin. So, do we have a Jason Todd?
I saw on Twitter that he doesn't like Damien, right?
No, he doesn't. No.
Why? Where does that come from?
That would probably make a good discussion topic for if he were to join me again on an episode. Why does he hate Damian Wayne? Because I actually don't know the reason for that.
Oh, maybe it's because he's so about Tim Drake that he can't really say anything about Dick Grayson, because Dick Grayson is the original Robin. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
We'll have to get to the bottom of that. So good to have you back, Dane. Wish it was under better circumstances in the baseball world, though, because you're sitting on the loser's bench right now in the postseason, just 2 days separated from each other. That the Oakland A's and the Yankees got knocked out.
I meant to say, was there a baseball season this year?
Oh.
I can't remember. I thought they canceled the season because of COVID. I did not know there was a baseball season. I can't imagine why.
You just kind of want to wash it away, get that disappointing feeling off of you, and just forget about the whole season. But man, was it a fun / ultimately disappointing week in the ALDS for both of us. And I gotta say, the Yankees, they were such an inconsistent team this year that going into the postseason, I didn't have very high expectations. But then once they played Cleveland in the wild card series, they looked like their old dominant selves that they started the season off and looked like they could pull off a good run. And they got to Tampa Bay. They won the first game, and then they tried being too cute with trying to trick Tampa Bay, thinking they're having a starter, but then taking them out in the second inning, hoping to change the lineup up, and that backfired on them, and that just set an unwanted precedent for the rest of the series. And they fought back in Game 4, but then ultimately lost. And what was a really great Game 5? It was just 1-1 for a while, close game, tight situations, but ultimately the Rays came out on top, and that was it for this season. But yours was kind of a different scenario, Dane, as far as Oakland and how they went through their series.
Fairly different. So yeah, the A's won the AL West. It was great to see.
Finally, yes.
Really great to see. And the worst part of it, Tim, the worst part of it is you win the AL West, you beat the White Sox in the quote unquote wild card round, I guess you could say.
Mm.
And then you face off against the Astros, the derided team, the controversial team. I
Public
guess
enemy number one.
Sure. And they are so lucky that there were no fans in stadiums this year because it would have been even worse for them. And it wouldn't have been so bad if they had just taken their lumps, right?
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
they had just sort of
showed some remorse from it, just a little bit.
Yeah, right. Like, okay, so the Dodgers are going to throw at us. That's going to be it. But then they have this attitude where it's like they're trying to. How would you describe it, Tim?
Yeah, they're just trying to make it like what they did wasn't really wrong or didn't help them win a championship. And they just have this arrogance about it, especially players like Carlos Correa. I can't stand him. Like when people criticize him, he feels like he has to fight back and saying how they cheated wasn't such a big deal. And I was like, no, what you guys did was unprecedented in the history of baseball. And the fact they don't show any regret, they weren't punished about it, and they have this haughty attitude towards everything about it. It just makes them so unlikable. It's what you just want them to lose so bad. And I hate the fact that it's not happening. And let's not forget, they were an under 500 team and they made the playoffs. It's like baseball is unintentionally rewarding the Astros for cheating. I mean, no one gets suspended. There's a slap on the wrist for the player side of things. They've got no repercussions for the players. Obviously, the manager, the GM got fired, they got fined, all that stuff. But the players got off scot-free. And because of the shortened season and the expanded playoffs, they get rewarded for being under 500 and making the playoffs. And now they're in the ALCS. It's just like, this team just needs to be. They need to taste a slice of humble pie from some baseball team, and hopefully now it's the Rays.
Yeah, I think the right word was arrogance, right? They have this air of arrogance that they deserve to be there this year. They won 29 games this year out of 60. So, and just in comparison, the A's won, I think, 35, 36.
And they own the Astros this year, didn't they?
Yeah, they won. I'm pretty sure they won all the series against the Astros. The A's had ended up winning the AL West by 7 games over the Astros. It just sucks. It's so bad to lose to that team, and I understand that you can make the argument that they're doing the Moneyball thing that the A's have sort of done for the past almost 20 years now. But the difference is that the Astros have money. They have a lot of money, especially after they won that the 2 World Series.
No, they only won one. Let's not give them
one World Series. Sorry, I forgot. 1 World Series, and I don't know. I kind of had a feeling, sort of to put it back on the A's because, it's not entirely all the Astros' fault, but I kind of had a feeling because during the season, Matt Chapman got hurt for the rest of the season. So I was like, okay, so that's a bat that's not going to be there, right? That's offense that's not going to be there. And then what I did, or what I didn't expect was that the pitching would be so bad. I thought, okay, so Jesus Luzardo is going to be, the guy, and then he goes and gives up like 3 or 4 runs in like the first 2 innings. It's like, okay, so what's going on? And then the A's have to play catch up, and then it was constantly playing catch up, playing catch up, playing catch up. It happened in the White Sox series. It happened in the Astros series. And then you have your closer, and if you don't know what a closer is, your closer is only pitching like an inning or half an inning.
To get the final outs of the game, yeah.
He's only getting like 2 outs at the most, right? I mean,
no, they usually get the last 3 outs.
Okay, but he's not playing 3 innings, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah. He's not playing the 7th, he's not playing the 8th, and he's not playing the 9th. So that deciding game 4, game 3, was it was like, okay, I have this uneasy feeling. I mean, I know the A's won that series, that game, but it was like, okay, I have this really shaky feeling that the pitching is really going to let him down. And then, of course, the game 4 happens, and then they start off okay. There's a 3-run home run by Chris Davis, and then they scored a 4th, or the Astros scored 1, I think, and then the A's scored another, and then after that, the Astros just ran away with the game, and the A's ended up losing 11-5 or 11-6 or whatever it was, right? That was heartbreaking. That was just so sad. It just felt like all of the air went out of the room, and this whole season, winning the AL West, sort of just disappeared, and everything was gone. Everything good about the season was gone.
Yeah.
I knew that the A's weren't really going to have the bats because you're missing a key bat in your lineup, right? And it sucked. Yeah, I honestly kind of just want to forget this entire season. I mean, I'm so glad that we got baseball this season, that Major League Baseball was able to have a season, but I don't know. I just want to forget about it for a little bit,
Yeah, I can understand. That's part of the heartbreak of losing in the postseason, which sadly both you and me have become accustomed to over the last 2 decades. Well, for me, just a decade. Last championship was 2009, but Oakland you're going on 30 years now.
Yeah, 1989.
Yeah, so you're way over.
It would have been the perfect year for the A's to win the World Series. You want to know why, Tim?
Why is that?
Because there wouldn't be a parade.
Yeah, that's true.
The last time they won the World Series, there wasn't a parade because of the San Francisco earthquake.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just sucks, especially to go out with getting beat by such a arrogant team that kind of
cheaters. Let's call them what they are, cheaters.
Okay, cheaters, yeah, cheaters that aren't really taking responsibility or being humble after what has come out and what people have said about them, So, yeah, just one of those seasons you just want to forget. I know a lot of A's fans on Twitter were really mad. They were saying, Billy Beane should be fired. David Forst should be fired. But yeah, you can do that. But who's gonna come to the lowest payroll team in the Major League Baseball? Who's gonna take that job? And who's gonna run with it?
And do a better job, really.
Do a better job. I mean, you can't. This unfortunately is a game about who has more money. That's all it is. Who can afford those high-priced free agents? Who can, I don't know, draft correctly? Even though in baseball, it's more of a crapshoot than it is in in the NFL or the NBA or NHL or whatever. So yeah, I just feel like this is just another A's season where they make the playoffs. Thankfully, they got to the ALDS somehow.
They won a series this year, so that's a step in the right direction. Instead of getting knocked out in the wild card round.
Yeah, it was the first in like 13 years. I think they won the first playoff series, like 12 or 13 years that they won. So yeah, it's just another one of those seasons where it's like, well, hopefully next season will be better. Yeah, hopefully we'll make it past the ALDS. We'll win a playoff series.
That old cliche, there's always next year.
Yeah, it just sucks that Marcus Simeon is probably going to be gone. Definitely going to be gone. Sorry, definitely going to be gone.
He's no sign free agents.
Liam Hendricks also gone because everybody loves the A's pitchers for some reason. The Yankees found that out the hard way with Gray, but it just sucks that this team is going to be stripped. Not only this year, but next year with both Mats up for free agency.
Yeah, so that sucks. Especially that makes the loss even worse when you know it's not going to even be the same team on the horizon next year. So, but Billy Beane has proved that he could take what he has and does some amazing things throughout the course of the regular season and have him be competitive at the very least. So, yeah, there's always that hope.
It's how far you can stretch $1. Yeah. $1 or $10 when your opponent has $50,000.
It's a good story though when they do succeed.
Yeah. Well, if the A's, and this is the last thing I'll say about this because it's really depressing, both of our teams. If the A's do ever win the World Series using this model with their payroll, I think it'll change baseball. I really think it will. It'll finally prove that you don't need money to win at baseball.
To be honest, I think that has been proven on certain occasions because who are the highest payroll teams in baseball? The Dodgers and the Yankees, and they haven't won. And sure, you got some big market teams winning like the Cubs and the Red Sox, the Astros the last few years, but it's not where it's always those big market teams. It's kind of sprinkled out a little bit, but when the bottom of the payroll teams, you're right, like Tampa and Oakland, who do a great job in being competitive and making the postseason, just haven't reached that final plateau yet of winning it all. And that will be some huge, that does happen, hopefully eventually, just not at the Yankees' expense.
Hopefully the Rays will beat the Astros.
I mean, until next year, go Rays. I am rooting for them like crazy because I do not want to see the Astros in the World Series. And if they actually win it, I don't even know what I'll do. That I would definitely have that attitude of trying to have this a forgotten season.
Yeah.
But
it is the forgotten season. That's all. One memorable thing. I don't know if you watched any of the A's highlights at the Coliseum.
Not really, but
yeah. If you do, look behind home plate. Look behind home plate and to the right. There's Tom Hanks there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Tom Hanks from A League of Their Own?
Oh no, he used to work at the Coliseum.
Oh, he did.
Games. Yeah. So
man, how many famous people worked at the Coliseum?
I don't know. MC Hammer, Mrs. Fields, Tom Hanks.
Well, at least it has that for its legacy. It's not baseball related history that the Oakland Coliseum has.
Yeah.
Well, that's the wrap on the 2020 baseball season for me and Dane. So, but maybe talking about The Dark Knight Rises could lift our spirits up, because it's been a while since we've done our commentary. As I said in our last 2 episodes, how I didn't want to continue on with it without Dane, because we are so close to the end, and it would not feel right if I made it to the end and finished it without Dane here. So we've been saving these last few minutes to do them together, and now we are ready to go into the 2.5 hour and 2 minute mark, or the 152 minute mark. So as always, let's see if I can remember, because it's been so long, to get your dead media format to play this movie on, like your VHS player, like your Betamax tape, like your Laserdisc player, like your DVD player, your HD DVD player, your video projector, your Blockbuster membership card, your Netflix physical media, and can't forget our former favorite format, your VHS to DVD converter, but then our new favorite format, which I'm not sure if I remember the exact name, but your HD VHS copy. Did I remember that right?
DVHS.
DVHS, okay.
Yeah. And I propose we add another one, Tim.
Oh, okay.
Because we're so close to it. PS4 and Xbox Series X/S.
Well, you got the PS4, but Xbox is just Xbox One X. The Xbox Series X is a new one coming out.
Right. Xbox One. See,
they don't make it easy, do they?
They got to work on their naming. I'm sorry.
They really do.
Xbox One X/S, right?
Yeah, there's the X. Right now, it's the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
But yeah, the next generations are Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. So I think you just got to get rid of the one.
Yeah. So how are they going to do the the shortened version of the Xbox Series X? Are they going to do XX or XSX?
SX, I guess. I'm just hearing people call it the Series X and the Series S. So I think Series is going to be the key word when talking about Xbox's console.
Oh yeah, I guess. Because PS5 is just built in there, right? I mean, it's PS5.
I know. It's so basic and so good. Yeah. Simple.
It's not the, Xbox Series 1S XP-2.
And who knows what their next system's going to be called, man. But anyway. Yeah, it probably is accurate to throw those on there, because they are now going to be past generation consoles. So
yep.
All right, so we got all those set up. I will go ahead and give the countdown. Are you ready, Dane?
Yes, sir.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. As we see John Blake throw away his badge. Now, at that point, when you saw that, Dane, did you get a hint of he's going to be taking over for Bruce Wayne here as Batman?
No, I just kind of had a feeling like I don't know what's going on. Like, how would he become Batman?
And
I need to see him train, Tim. I need to see him train for an hour.
Well, that's where the next series of movies should have been, right?
Yeah.
I mean, seeing this sequence here of the funeral and Gordon giving the eulogy, I was buying all into Bruce actually being dead in this moment here, especially with Alfred's reaction, just sobbing and saying he failed Thomas and Martha. I was like, oh man, they're actually really doing it.
Yeah, but then you kind of held out a little bit of hope, right?
Just a little bit, yeah. But I was more convinced that he was dead, but still a little, but not 100% just yet.
Yeah.
And that's where we leave off, as Gordon is about to have a conversation with John Blake, setting up more potential of mystery about his future. So we will find out. But we're getting closer and closer. This ending montage isn't going to last too long. So just a few more to go.
Did they already do the reveal of the statue thing?
No, not yet. That's coming up.
Okay.
We might get that in the next minute. Who knows?
The John Blake name reveal.
Yep. So some big surprises coming. So stay tuned. But with that, we don't really have a set feature topic for this episode. With Dane's first episode back in a while, one thing we definitely wanted to talk about, though, was his reaction to the Batman trailer, because I have yet to talk to him about it besides just getting his initial thoughts in some text after it first came out. But we got to hear what Dane thinks about it on the actual show. So, Dane, let's hear it. What are your thoughts on the Batman trailer?
Well, before we get to that, can I just say something really quick? I played and I finished Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, man, that's right, man. Again, it's been a while. It's been
a
a
while
while since we last recorded, so go for it.
It is really good. The missions do get repetitive, but it's really good, especially the story and of course the graphics. But the story, you can see where it's heading, but it doesn't make it any easier. It's really good. So if you haven't played it and you can't get your hands on a PS5 like me, Ghost of Tsushima will really hold your attention. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play it. The reason I haven't played it yet is because I just have a feeling there might do kind of a upgraded version for the PS5 in the not too distant future, like maybe early 2021 or something like that. Or even if they don't have the PS4 version, you could play it on the PS5, have it kind of be upscaled a little bit and just have it just be a little bit better and then the PS4 version. So I'll definitely be playing it one way or another once I get the PS5.
Okay. Also, Squadrons, Star Wars Squadrons. I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a letdown for me.
See, I'm really enjoying it for what it is. Just like for a $40 game, just having a new flight simulation Star Wars space combat game. I'm actually really digging it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You got to play it. I mean, you got to be a diehard Star Wars fan like you are, Tim. Yeah, not really into the story. I don't know if you have the same problem as me, but all of the starships flying past you super fast. You got to turn around.
Yeah, that's kind of the nature of those type of games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a flight simulation style game, not an arcade style flight game. So they're vastly different. So if you're not a fan of the simulation style, I could totally get why you wouldn't be enjoying this game. But it reminds me a lot of the old X-Wing versus TIE Fighter game I used to play on PC back in '97. And it's been years since I played a Star Wars game like that. So it was just kind of refreshing to play one like that again on a console and with some really nice graphics. So yeah, I'm liking it for what it is.
Yeah, I just can't get into that game, Tim.
It's understandable.
But Tony Hawk Pro Skater,
oh dude,
is the best remake I've played, or best remaster, or best remake, or whatever you call it, that I've played in a long time.
If it wasn't for Final Fantasy VII Remake, I would agree with you, but it's right under that for me.
Yeah, it is so fun. The music is there. Yes. All of the old levels are there. I'm about halfway through the second game. And I'm just loving it. I really love the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remake. It's weird how well they nailed that nostalgic feeling, but made it brand new. You know?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. You're still finding the popcorn in Chicago, and you're still, you know.
I'm glad they still stuck with the secret tapes too, with a secret thumb drive or Blu-ray disc or something like that.
Were there those jump goals in the first game?
Jump goals, like
yeah, where you can like in Chicago or whatever, like you can jump off the buildings and stuff.
That's right. Yeah. See, I don't remember if that was it. I'm pretty sure most of the goals are all the same, but I'd have to actually look at that to see if it was. That was one of the last ones I had to get. That one took me a little bit.
With the popcorn?
No, not the popcorn. The three.
Oh, the jump.
The three gap jumps on Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I have to look it up on YouTube.
No shame in that. I did it for a few of them too. It's like, so you just don't have the time to invest in trying to figure out for your. At least that's what I've come to the point where I'm at that age now, where it's I just want to have fun and experience this. And it's not like I want to do that for everything. I do like having a challenge and trying to figure things out for myself, but especially in a game like Tony Hawk or like these sports type games, it's not a huge deal for me to look it up and see how it's done and try to pull it off myself.
Yeah.
I'd rather not waste 2 hours just trying to do one thing.
And
But
did you ever get the secret tape on the downhill jam?
I did, yeah. I got all the goals for both games. I finished them. So
How did you get the secret tape for the downhill jam? Because I know you have to like go up on the side and then
yeah, you gotta go around that.
yeah, it's like you're circling or back around, right?
Yeah,
And you jump up to the middle pillar thing.
yeah.
And the tape is there.
Like right as you go around that whole path, before you make like a full circle, you kind of stop, turn around, and then you gotta do a jump over to that middle pillar. It's got to time it pretty good or angle it pretty good is a better word for it to get to the section where the secret tape's at. It did take a few tries, but that's kind of how you have to get around it.
Yeah, because I ended up because there are 3 rails on that middle pillar thing, and I can't get onto the middle one where the tape is, and they won't give it to me. So it's like I'm just going round and round on that level. I just can't get the secret tape.
Is that one of the last ones?
Yeah, on the original game. I'm still going through the second game. Yeah. Also, I like how on the mall level and downhill jam, it starts you back at the beginning. It doesn't just end the level.
Yeah, you make it to the end, go right back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I totally agree with you. It was such a great remake. Just those classic levels looking better than they ever did before. The controls felt great because I don't know if you remember back in 2012 they did it kind of an HD remaster for the first game, and it just didn't capture the same feel of the original classics like this one did. It really is a great, and believe it or not, the music makes a big part of it because that original remake in 2012 didn't have the original songs. It was all new stuff, and it just did not feel the same. It didn't feel like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. The music adds so much to it. So really glad they were able to work out all the licensing stuff and have all those original tracks in there because it really is a big part of the game and what makes it special. So it was lots of fun. Yeah, I totally agree with you on it.
One thing I do miss from the original games is I don't know if you remember, but if a song was playing, it would have the music video in the background of certain
That's right.
levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss that. I was like, oh, they don't have the music videos anymore.
It is nice too. We get to hear the full songs now because if you remember the originals, after the 2 minutes were up in your round, that was it.
Oh,
The
right.
song would just have to start all the way over again.
Yeah, that's right. It plays through the entire game. Like the soundtrack is completely separate from the game.
Yep. Now here's a question for you, Dane. What is your favorite song off the soundtrack?
Probably "New Girl" from Suicide Machines.
Dude, that's mine too.
Really?
Yep, I love that song. That's my favorite off Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, and probably my favorite off of 2 is "No Cigar" by Melanchon, I believe.
Melanchon, yeah.
Yeah,
that one is my favorite song too. The second one.
Man, we're in perfect harmony with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
I think I even bought both albums. You know, the Suicide Machines and the Melanchon one.
I actually got to see the Suicide Machines in 2000 when they opened up for No Doubt, and I was hoping they'd play that song, and they did, so it was cool to hear it live.
And how were they live? Were they good?
No, yeah, they were really good, actually. That's
I know. I think it was right after that record they made like a pop record.
I don't know, but maybe more like the pop punk style record. But
yeah,
like straight pop. But
yeah, pop punk record.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, they have
yeah,
they have quite a few good songs. I haven't listened to their entire discography, but they have some good songs.
And if I'm remembering this correctly, that sort of video, that full, live action video that plays every time you start the game, that was the second one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the first one was I'm gonna have to look this up. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I don't
can't remember,
remember
but the first one,
what the first one had either.
yeah.
But
Oh,
I'm really hoping we get a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 HD remake because that's my favorite one of the series. I love the levels of that one.
I hope we get a was it Underground or was it American Wasteland? That was the open world one.
That was American Wasteland, yeah.
Yeah, American Wasteland. I hope we get one of those because I think that'll be interesting because like how are they gonna do the open world? Is it gonna be like how big is it gonna be? Stuff like that. And I remember because that was one of the last Tony Hawk games I played was American Underground, and I remember you would just show up to a mission or show up to a level, and instead of like picking it from a drop down menu sort of thing. And I remember thinking that at the time that was the coolest thing ever, that you could just show up like seamlessly, and there'd be a little cutscene, and
See, what I didn't like about those, like some of those later games, is that all the levels kind of started to feel the same. What I liked about the first three, they're so different and unique, especially in Tony Hawk 3. I mean, you go to a factory, you're skating in like a suburban neighborhood, you're skating in the mountains of Canada, an airport. There's so many a cruise ship. Like it's just so different that you really can't do all that stuff in some of the later open world games where you just go to different points in a city or neighborhood and they all start kind of feeling the same. That's why I like Tony Hawk 3 the best. Just the level variety is so much fun.
yeah, but American Underground. I remember if I'm remembering this correctly, you could get off your board, right? And you could
Yeah,
go.
That was the first like big new feature for Underground. Yeah.
Yeah, like you could go climb on a roof, and then you could jump off the roof, and stuff like that.
It took away some of the challenge of like completing some of the goals where like kind of these hard to get to areas on your board.
Yeah.
You could just hop off it and climb on there.
Oh, by the way, did you get the secret tape in San Francisco in the second game?
Yeah.
That one is hard. I tried to do that for so long that I can't play that level for a long time.
Yeah. That's where you spend hours on there.
You gotta like jump on the roof, and you gotta go around the building.
Yeah.
And you gotta go up the ramp, and you gotta go, go on the other ramp, and then you gotta jump into this dome thing. And hopefully you jump, far enough where you can get the tape.
Yeah, the hardest part is just getting on the roof. But once you're up there, it for me anyway, it was pretty smooth sailing, jumping off the ramp and getting the tape. But just getting on there took forever.
Yeah. I just getting frustrated, angry.
Throw your controller.
Finally got it.
It's a good feeling once you do get it. That's for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, the Batman trailer. Yeah, I loved it. The music was great.
Were you surprised by that though, when you first heard those chords for Something in the Way?
Yeah, I was. I was like, oh, is this what I think it is?
Yeah.
Did I? Or before we even get to that, like, I thought that because I didn't watch the DC fan thing live. I just watched like the low resolution rips that IGN put up.
Okay, you saw the leaks before the trailer actually came out.
No, it had come out, but IGN didn't have that 1080p copy yet. But they just decided to put something up.
I just couldn't wait. Okay.
Yeah. And I thought something was wrong because when I don't know, Riddler, quote unquote, is doing the tape, taking off the tape. And the Warner Brothers logo kind of stutters.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, hey, get down. Get down.
Your cat wants to join in on the conversation. Huh?
Yeah, hold on. But yeah, I thought the stutter. I mean, I thought the video was stuttering. Like they didn't get a good cut, or their internet was bad at that moment. But yeah, I loved it. I loved Something in the Way. Did not expect that. And am I correct in saying that after that trailer came out, that was the first time that song had ever charted?
I think you're right. Yeah, I know it was
Yeah,
having like massive download numbers on streaming
right.
numbers, so which
Yeah,
is awesome.
yeah. But yeah, I love it. I love how instead of I am Batman, it's I am Vengeance. I
Oh,
totally love that.
chills.
Yeah, that was great. Of course, you expect them to say I am Batman, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was great. Okay, that's it. Get down. Okay, go. Okay.
I think your cat wants you to talk about Selena Kyle in the trailer now.
um, I didn't know that was Colin Farrell in all that makeup as the Penguin.
Neither did I. I think a lot of people did it.
Yeah. Like I was like, wait, Colin Farrell's in the trailer? Like, where was he? And it's like, oh, he's in all that makeup. The one criticism I do have of the trailer is that we don't get to see Andy Serkis as Alfred.
I know, yeah.
Which
Especially
his
for you. I
voice.
know he's your most anticipated character
Yeah,
to see in the movie.
yeah. I want to see how he's doing it. You know, we had Jeremy Irons as the kind of boozy Alfred.
I feel like he was the boozy. Bruce was the boozy.
No, yeah. Well, both of them, let's say. Yeah, I just want to see what he looks like. Want to see what the Riddler looks like too. I mean, was that the Riddler in the beginning?
I think it definitely is, but
Yeah,
probably not
that could be
his final look.
yeah, yeah, right. And I want to see Paul Dano and see what he's up to, see what he looks like. Of course, you brought it up before. Selena Kyle, how's she gonna work into everything? Is this gonna be another movie where it's like villain after villain after villain after villain? Is it gonna be like a Dark Knight where it's just the Joker and it's the Joker all the time? You know?
uh, obviously, we know there's going to be familiar characters we know who are villains, but them being, I think Riddler's the main villain of this movie. That's just the vibe I'm getting from the trailer, and I think would be, and it's a great vibe that was on display in the trailer. So I think it'd be great if he is. And then Penguin or Oswald Cobblepot is probably going to be just the crime. I don't know if he's not going to be the main crime boss, but someone in like the crime families of Gotham who's not the main villain, but will be someone Batman has to deal with. But Selena Kyle is the one, like I said, curious to see how she's going to fit in to the overall story. But I am not concerned at all as far as there being too many villains. Matt Reeves, I got full confidence that he'd be able to balance having all these characters fit into the story he's trying to tell. So it's not worried at all that's going to be a Spider-Man 3 scenario or anything like that.
Yeah, I also liked the suit. I said this earlier to you, Tim, but I don't know why, but it reminds me of the year one Frank Miller bat suit. Doesn't look anything like it. I think it's because it's so normal. It doesn't look, out there. It just looks like it was made or welded together. It wasn't like some high tech thing.
Uh-huh.
I guess that sort of vibe is, the Frank Miller year one Batsuit. Yeah, I love the trailer. It was a great way to tease this movie, even though it's got delayed till 2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it. I love Robert Pattinson. I hope nobody's sort of doubting him that he's not going to be a good Bruce Wayne, but Yeah, he looks good
Especially
as
after this trailer, man. I don't know how you
yeah,
can still feel that way.
and I like it's a subtle thing, but I like how they're showing the eye makeup that he puts on
Yeah.
underneath the cowl. Is this the first time that that's happened? Right?
Yeah. I mean, there's that infamous scene in Batman Returns where Bruce Wayne takes off his mask to Selena Kyle at the very end, and the black makeup around his eyes magically disappears once he takes it off.
They just did not know how to do it. But yeah, I love the makeup. I like the riddle.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, I totally love the trailer.
Yeah, it really was perfect. And again, as we talked about in the episode where me and Paul talked about, just how we were blown away about how they just only filmed about 25% of the movie and they got all this amazing stuff already. And it just makes you so much more excited for the potential of what else is going to be filmed for this movie. It's just incredible when you think about it that way.
Yeah,
But
it's
set, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say it's weird um, how they're sort of going. I don't know if you and Paul have this sort of uh, the, this sort of feeling towards it, but it looks like they're kind of blending the Tim Burton universe with the sort of Christopher Nolan universe, where they're going with the
Mm.
like a high tech computer stuff, but then they're also it looks like everybody's wearing a trench coat and it's gothic and it has that feel to it.
Yeah, I can't say I really got that vibe far of a mixture of Tim Burton and Chris Nolan. I got more of the Chris Nolan vibe than really anything Tim Burton. But at the same time, it's something that it still feels like its own thing too. It's not like, oh, it's just retreading the stuff that Nolan did. You could feel a
Right.
little bit of similarities, I think, but for the most part, it has its own unique vibe and look and feel to it, which is great. But more so for me on the Nolan side, if anything, than any from Tim Burton. But if that was the case where they're trying to blend in the both, I mean, that could make for a pretty cool combination, I think, if you were to ask me.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm just. I mean, I could because maybe it's the Batmobile because it's not your typical Batmobile where it's a high tech machine. It's just like a car. Um,
Yeah,
you know, maybe that's it. I don't know. Um,
just
but
something
yeah,
about it that gives you that
yeah,
feel.
there's just something about it. But yeah, I am totally on board with this movie. It just sucks that it got delayed.
I know that's one of the bummer pieces of news we had to talk about on this one. It was finally revealed that, I mean, it was something that we probably were expecting to happen, but still kind of holding out hope it could make its October 2021 release date. But it is in fact moving to March 2022, which is a bummer. But as I said in the tweet, we just got to listen to Qui-Gon's words. We shall be patient and wait for this movie to come out because it's definitely going to be worth the wait. But this was kind of a trickle effect that Warner Brothers is having with their movies and their other big movies that was supposed to come out this year. Dune got pushed back to 2021, and once that happened, because I think it actually took the Batman's 2021 date of October. So once that happened, it was just a matter of time before they revealed that Batman's movie to March 4th, 2022. And I don't know, despite the disappointing fact of it being delayed a couple of months, I did like the idea of a Batman movie coming out in the fall. Fall is my favorite season, and I would love to have a new Batman movie to go with that. But it's going to be in the spring now, in March. But like I said, it'll definitely be worth the wait. But then again, there were some other DC movies that got pushed back a year as well. The Flash movie was supposed to come out in 2022 is now 2023 plus Shazam, and now the Black Adam movie doesn't have a tentative date at all. So it's going to be a while waiting for DC movies, but um, I was going to say we still got some hopefully close, but I don't know because Wonder Woman right now, we're still waiting to see that movie. And right now it's still slated for December 25th, 2020, but I don't believe that's going to happen unless they go the digital route, which Patty Jenkins keeps saying that is not going to happen. So I think we're going to be waiting longer for Wonder Woman 1984 too. I think that's probably going to get pushed back to summer 2021, and just hoping things are somewhat back to normal by then when theaters are opening and safe to go to, because that's the big thing. I know some theaters are open, but not everyone is feeling safe to go. So I'm not sure if summer 2021 is going to be that time. We're all hopeful that it is, but I think we thought fall and winter 2020 would be a time where theaters were back open and things were good to go, but then that hasn't been the case. So who knows now? We're still got to be playing that waiting game, but one thing's for sure, a lot of big movies are on the horizon in the next couple of years. We just got to be patient and continue to make it through this gap of no new comic book movies or just really movies in general. So it's a bummer, but we just got to continue to plow through it.
Have you seen Tenet yet?
No, I'm just waiting for it to come out for the home release. My local theater isn't even open yet, so I'd have to travel a bit to see it, and I don't want to. And so I'll be waiting for that. I think it's November. I believe they announced the home release for it, so I'll definitely be seeing it when that hits digital.
Oh, that's not bad then.
Yeah, it's not too long.
I mean, I really, at this point, honestly think that they should just release Wonder Woman online.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's getting to that point where it's like, look, I don't think movie theaters are going to be open this year. I just don't. But I was thinking about you Star Wars fans. Imagine if there was a Star Wars movie that was coming out this winter.
Oh, man.
What would happen? Would they just release it on Disney Plus or?
I don't think so. I mean, because I think the proof right now is with how they're handling Black Widow, because that's their next big Marvel movie, and they keep pushing that back. That's not being released digitally. I guess Mulan didn't do as good as numbers maybe to warrant another premium release like that, so they're still holding out for the theatrical release for Black Widow, and I imagine that would be the same for any Star Wars movie if one was coming out this year.
Yeah. No, that sucks, Tim. Well, hopefully Star Wars movies are in the far future.
Well, the next one was supposed to be 2022, but I think they already said that's whatever that movie is 2023 now. So we're a long ways off from a new Star Wars movie, which isn't the worst thing in the world when we got the Mandalorian season 2 coming out. We got the Kenobi series, the Cassian series. So we should be well contented with on the TV side of things for Star Wars.
Are those all filmed besides the Mandalorian?
No, they haven't even started filming on Cassian and Obi-Wan.
That's what I thought.
Ewan McGregor just said recently that they should start filming Kenobi in March.
See.
But speaking of new upcoming TV shows, I am very excited that we finally got some official news regarding HBO Max Green Lantern series. And this was reported a while ago. It was kind of when HBO Max was first I don't know if it was first announced, but not too long after that, where details were coming about HBO Max and some of their original programming, how a Green Lantern series was going to be among those. And we haven't heard too much about it, but now we've got some official details that I am really excited. We got a showrunner, Seth Grahame-Smith will be the showrunner for it. The only credits that he has that I'm familiar with is he wrote the Lego Batman movie, which was awesome. So having someone who's dabbled in some comic book stories already is great. And he's going to be the showrunner. And then Mark Guggenheim, who infamously is one of the many writers for the Green Lantern movie, but helped spearhead and create the Arrow universe, is going to write the first episode. And it is going to be a 10-episode series. Hollywood Reporter is saying that it is a 10-episode straight to series order. So we're definitely going to be getting 10. And the other big news about it is they announced who the Lanterns are going to be in this series. And they are going to be Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, and this was a surprising one to me, Alan Scott. They will all be the Earth-based Lanterns. But it did mention we're going to see some aliens like Kilowog and Sinestro, who will be a villain in this series. So kind of surprising on the characters, but obviously the big absence are Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, and Kyle Rayner. But here's my thinking on this. And there is a report, it might be a year ago, it was a while ago, and I don't even remember. It wasn't like an official, I don't think it was like a Hollywood Reporter or Deadline report or anything like that, but just some superhero rumors going around that you sometimes hear, that the plan is kind of to have a Green Lantern movie still to go along with the series, and both of them would be in the same universe, but they would be in different time periods where Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart may be set, the movie may be in the past, to where the TV show may be set in the current time period, or something to that effect. Maybe not a like distant past and distant future, but there would be a time gap between the movie and the series. And I think that sounded pretty cool to me when I first heard that rumor. Just to get all these characters in one big Green Lantern universe, but one's a TV show and one's the series, and you're saving, I mean, let's be honest, the big Green Lantern characters, Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, they're the big three when it comes to Earth Lanterns, and you would want to use them for a movie if you're going that route. So hearing that they're not going to be in this series kind of, to me anyway, leads more credence to that report that may be the direction that Warner Brothers decides to go with the Green Lanterns, to have the movies on Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, and Kyle Rayner, and then the TV show on Guy Gardner and the more recent Lanterns like Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz. So I really hope that's the route, because that, as a big Green Lantern fan, to get as much Green Lantern content as possible is going to be awesome. So I'm excited about this, and they're saying it's going to be kind of like a DC superhero show produced like no other on the Warner Brothers side of things. So I'm hoping it'll have a nice budget to handle the effects needed to make a Green Lantern show, a solid Green Lantern show, with all the constructs, and they're not going to be skimping on how much they could do on constructs or go to different alien planets and environments. So hopefully with an HBO Max TV show budget, that should be enough for them to make a great Green Lantern show that franchise so desperately deserves in live action. Can you believe it, Dane? We're almost 10 years removed from the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie.
Really?
Yep. Next year would be its 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
And 2020 was supposed to be the year Green Lantern Corps movie was supposed to be out. We should have had one by now.
I don't think that's happening until 2040.
Yeah. And when you throw in everything that happened with the pandemic and just the movie getting off the ground with production, you might be right about that.
I'm so surprised that Flash movie is still going forward.
That seems like their big. That's not going to be their big tentpole one with what they have planned, with it being with Flashpoint, having Michael Keaton's Batman show up, and I'm sure some other surprises that are going to be in there too. So I think they have some big high hopes for that.
I don't know. We'll see. Because they also said, Tim, I don't know if you know this, but Green Lantern Corps was supposed to come out this year.
I think I've heard that before, but but no, like I said, it was just great to get some news on this series. To know that something with Green Lantern in live action is coming in the near future, and it's actually moving along in production with getting people involved and all that stuff. So it was just good to see, and it's just making me excited for that.
Yeah, was your brother happy?
He's just still so disappointed with how Warner Brothers has handled everything, especially on the Green Lantern front, that he's not getting excited till he actually sees it and enjoys it. Right now, he's kind of under the impression anything they do, they're just going to mess it up first. So they have to change his mind with something really good to get him back and excited about it. But hopefully the series will do the job.
So if he's actually watching episode 1, he's not going to believe that.
Exactly. He's not going to be fully on board until he sees that episode.
Well, I don't blame him.
It's kind of hard not to when you think about it in certain ways, how they handle the Green Lantern franchise.
Yeah.
But that's it for some of the news topics that has been going on that I wanted to talk about. And with that, I guess I can go into a comic book review of the latest issue of 3 Jokers, issue number 2. And as always, going to throw out the spoiler warning out there. Going to be talking about some of the big things that happen in this issue. So if you haven't read it yet, you might want to hold off and read it, because you should definitely read it. It's amazing and hear what I have to say about it. But as always, before we begin, got to give our rating scale for this episode. And I was thinking something along the lines of both the Yankees and A's being knocked out in the first, or not the first round, but just being knocked out in the playoffs in general. So I was thinking amount of years that the Yankees and Oakland get knocked out of the playoffs again.
Okay, so you have a scale of 1 to 13 then, or whatever it is for the A's.
And yeah, right. Yeah, 1 to 11 for me and the Yankees since they last won a World Series. So we'll go with something like that.
Yeah.
But issue 2, again, this series, it's just such a mesmerizing read, to be honest. You're just on pins and needles reading every page, every panel. You just can't wait to see what happens next. Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok's art, along with Jeff Johns' writing, it just captivates you like any great comic story should. And this issue does the same thing like issue 1. But this issue begins with the comedian version of the Joker. It starts out, we just see him pulling up to the suburban home, and he's greets a wife and a son, like this happy family home, but yet the wife and the son are kind of scared to upset this Joker, and they're sitting down having dinner. This looks like the Squid. But then we realize that as the criminal Joker walks in, that the other Joker, the comedian, is just alone sitting in this, what was a nice suburban home in his vision, is actually a rundown old home, and he's just having this meal in his head. And in the chairs aren't his wife and son, but a stuffed teddy bear with some missing arms and this mannequin who's just standing there. And the criminal Joker, they're lamenting the fact that they lost one of their brethren with the murder of the clown Joker from Jason Todd in issue number 1. And wondering how they're going to create that better Joker that they're set off to do in the first issue. And so after that, it was just such a creepy setting, though, seeing the Joker in the suburban family home, but then we see it's all in his head, and we don't necessarily know what that's about yet. And I'm curious to see if what the reasoning is for that in the last issue, if Jeff Johns decides to explore on more of that. But then we get a scene with Gordon and Batman exploring a murder of a judge who was killed by being bludgeoned to death with his humanitarian award, and being devoured by these dogs who are infected with Joker toxin. And Batman is there with Gordon, but then Batgirl comes and she has to speak to Batman alone, and she fills him in on what happens in issue 1 with Jason Todd murdering the clown Joker that they had in captivity. And Batman, he's kind of quiet about this. He doesn't flip out or show any anger. I think he shows regret here. That's in the conversation he has with Batgirl here. There's just some great dialogue here between them, and just talking about how both Barbara and Jason handled their, life-changing interactions with the Joker, that and the pain that he caused them. How Barbara pulled out stronger. She was able to get through it, but Jason wasn't. And Batman is just lamenting the fact that he didn't realize, he wasn't dead from the start, and that he should have been there. And he just says his biggest regret is leaving Jason in that grave and not being there for him and to help him get through this. But now he kind of wants to do that now and just talk to him to help him get through the pain that he's feeling before he, hurts himself or anyone else for that matter. So they go on the trail trying to look for him. But before that, we'd have to make a stop at Blackgate Prison, because the fingerprints on the humanitarian ward that killed that judge is an inmate in Blackgate. And we get the reveal here that the fingerprints are none other than Joe Chill. And this brings to my favorite moment of this issue, and just one of my favorite moments that I've read in a Batman comic in a long time, because we see Batman make his way through Blackgate Prison, and there's this great moment in these panel layouts where he's walking past these cells, and you see these different villains that he's encountered, like Rupert Thorne, and then he reaches Joe Chill's cell. And then we get the flashback of Bruce and his parents walking down Crime Alley, coming face to face with Joe Chill as he murders his parents. But there's this 3-panel layout that I just love, going great with Jason Fabok's art of Batman. We see Batman here, and he says, "You know who?" And then in the second panel, he clears his throat. It's like, then the third panel, he has that confidence saying, "You know who I am." But I love that Jeff Johns decided to show here this little vulnerability and even a little fear, I would say, of Batman confronting the murderer of his parents. It's just a great moment that I think humanizes Batman here, because we know and expect him to be someone who has no fear and goes out and deals with all these criminals and alien gods and all this stuff. And he has that calm, cool, collected manner about him, knowing that he can do anything. But the idea of him coming face to face with the person who murdered his parents, it just shows that human side. And even that child in Bruce Wayne, that scared little boy who was faced with the gun pointed at him, is still there in him, even as Batman. It was just a great moment that I thought, I'm really glad that Jeff Johns decided to show here in this issue, just not being that confident, no fear Batman that we've come accustomed to. It was just a great moment. But he knocks the cell down once Joe Chill doesn't answer, and Batgirl reveals to him that they actually moved him into the hospital wing of Blackgate, where he's very sick and he's pretty much on his deathbed with stage 4 cancer. And they have to try to figure out how his fingerprints were on that award to murder that judge. So just another piece of the puzzle that they have to try to fit in with what's going on with the three Jokers. So, but that was a great moment. I just love how Jeff Johns showed Batman reacting to confronting Joe Chills there. It was just so good. But then we get Jason Todd still on the path to trying to find the remaining Jokers, and he's trying to talk to all these different low-life thugs and criminals to get information to maybe where they would be. And then he gets information that there might be something at this Gotham City community pool center or something to that effect, because he goes into this pool room and just is filled with dead bodies of people, of men doused with Joker toxin in this pool. They seem to be dead, but one comes out infected, looking like a zombie Joker, but Jason shoots it. But after he does, there's that famous laughter as the Joker sneaks up behind him, and they capture Jason. They have him naked, just sitting in a chair, and they're just about to torment him again, almost as bad as they did with the death of Jason Todd originally. And their plan is here. It's kind of crazy. This is part of the mystery about the three Jokers that I'm not sure I'm fully on board with. I have to wait until I get the final issue and see how the story wraps up. But basically, the criminal Joker and the comedian Joker, they're trying to create a new Joker, and they want Jason Todd to be that person. They feel he's the perfect candidate to be the next great Joker and be the next great adversary to Batman. And what they say makes sense, because he is in line to a lot with how the Joker's origin story that we know plays out. And they hinted at this even in issue 1 by the clown Joker when he was telling him this. Someone who was the Red Hood at first and hates Batman almost as much as they do for Batman leaving him to die, replacing him with another Robin. Like, everything's there for him to be the next great Joker, but they come to the realization that he really isn't. They had high hopes for him, but they thought it made so much sense. But it just, as the criminal Joker said, it's just not in the cards for Jason to be that next great Joker. And they put the Red Hood mask back on him, but it has a smiley face. And then the clown Joker goes off, or I should say the comedian Joker just goes off on Jason with the crowbar again. And he even says, this is more fun than the first time, which threw me off, because the clown Joker, who Jason Todd killed in the first issue, he made it look like saying he's the one who killed Jason in Death in the Family and beat him with the crowbar, because he recounted what Jason said to him in that moment, pleading for his life. But this one is kind of reacting to that, or telling Jason that he is the one with the experience and the memories of what happened to Jason in Death of the Family. So just kind of little moments here and there that throws you off what you think might be the case with these three Jokers, but it makes you think, oh, maybe there's more something to it. Or do they all share the same experiences? Is it just because they tell each other what happened? So we just don't know what exactly is going on. And just the whole idea of the mystery about three Jokers is just so fascinating to me. And I just really curious to see how it's all going to end and what the explanation is going to be, or even if we get one. Who knows if we will? So it again just adds another layer to that mystery of the three Jokers. But Batman and Barbara do rescue Jason. They fight off some of those people that were in the pool, the zombified Jokers. and they're able to rescue Jason, bring him back to safety. And there's a moment here with Barbara and Jason as she takes him back to his apartment just to get him rested up, and just how they, again, going back to that theme of how they deal with their trauma and their pain that the Joker caused them, and how Barbara used some of those painful memories as reminders to get through this, and Jason just tries to block all that out and power through, and just obviously makes them very different people, and just how they deal with things moving forward, especially when it comes to the Joker. It was a nice moment, but then they had something that kind of rolled my eyes at is they shared a kiss here, and it was like, you don't need to play up any romantic angle, I think, between Barbara and Jason Todd here. To me, it just felt like a forced moment that really wasn't necessary. But Barbara kind of shrugged it off, saying you shouldn't have done that. It was just a one-time thing. It was just in the moment, so let's just forget it never happened. But then Batman's still investigating, trying to figure out this mystery of the three Jokers, the clown, the comedian, the criminal. Who are they? But as we see Batman at the Bat computer looking at these files, we get the final part of this issue. We go back to Blackgate Prison, where Joe Chill is busted out of the hospital wing of Blackgate. And he's busted out by the two Jokers. And this is where it's getting me, oh man, where are they going to go next? Because they have him in this van. They put on his hat that he wore as he killed the Waynes. And they're about to film it. They have this camera. And one of the Jokers says, Joe Chill, it's time to finally confess why you really killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. And boy, just the idea of, I just don't know what to make of it, to be honest. Joe Chill in connection with these Jokers and the reason behind the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne. Just what is Jeff Johns going to go with this angle here? I'm fascinated by it. I'm so intrigued by it with Joe Chill and these connections with the Jokers that I just cannot wait for the final issue. But regardless of how it ends and how I feel about the overall direction that Jeff Johns is going to go with the explanation for the Jokers and their connection with Joe Chill, it's just, I'm enjoying the heck out of the story and just the mystery it's creating, and just adding this whole new mysterious layer to the Jokers that I never thought was possible, or to get, because the Joker's always been filled with mystery, but just to add a whole nother dynamic to that, once we thought we've gotten so many stories that deal with that, to have another one that's totally different and unique, it's just fantastic. It's just such a captivating read. That's just so good to get in the Batman comic or Batman story again, that frankly I haven't read in a while. And it's really, really good that in these first two issues, I'm getting that feeling again. So another very, very solid, great issue from Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok. I'm going to give, I like the moment between the clown Joker and Jason Todd and Barbara in the first issues. There's some powerful stuff in there, and I don't think this one quite had a moment like that, except for the 3 panels of Batman at Joe Chill's cell. So I think the first issue is just slightly better. So I'm going to give this one, because I gave that one a 5 out of 5. So I'm going to give this one 4.5 out of 4.5 more seasons that the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees are knocked out in the postseason, while Dane and Tim have been fans. So 4 more years. Hopefully it's not 4 more years that we're waiting for them to win a championship, but that's what I'm giving this issue. It's another great one, and what I think is already becoming an instant classic as far as the Batman story goes.
You know, while you're giving your review,
Mm-hmm.
I got this tweet notification from GameStop, and it's for this "You Want This" box. I guess it's just a box with just like a bunch of useless stuff that nobody wants, right? And it's somebody replied to that tweet and said, "Let me guess, 1 Fortnite Funko Pop, a pre-owned copy of Dance Dance Revolution for the Wii, and your choice of $1.23 cash or $2.10 in in-store credit."
That sounds about right. It's coming from GameStop. I was hoping you were going to say it was a GameStop notification that PS5 pre-orders are back up, but
no, I don't think there's going to be any more pre-orders. I think it's going to be, after it comes out, unfortunately.
Don't be surprised. Some could pop up.
Yeah,
that last second, you just never know when it comes. That's what's the frustrating part. You just never know. There's nothing
yeah, you
definitive
never
when it
know.
comes to new console pre-orders.
Um, well, one thing I'll review for our review section is the season 2 of The Boys. I don't know if you finished it, Tim.
Oh, good call, Dane, because I just watched the last episode 2 nights ago. So
Yeah, I just watched it before we got on here. So yeah, I love this season. I don't know if you liked it as much as I did, but I really liked it. I thought it was a step up from the last season. One thing I will criticize though is the that sort of Frenchie and is her name Kumiko?
yeah,
Yeah, storyline where they're sort of like he wants to rescue her, but she doesn't need his rescuing, sort of thing. I just it's like, okay, let's get through this, guys. It's the same thing over and over again. It was good the first time, but the last 5 times it wasn't so good. Um, I really like Stormfront. Didn't expect her to be a secret Nazi. I
yeah.
don't know if she was in the comics or whatever, but yeah, that was a big surprise to me. She wants to use that to wipe out all the other, the sort of racist thought that, to wipe out all the other people. I just thought that was a great turn for the character.
Yeah, it was
Glad her
funny because
character
like
didn't make it through.
the first two episodes, like, oh man, Storefront's awesome. Like she's like not buying into all like the corporate like crap that VOD's bringing
Right,
out for all the superheroes. But then by the third
right,
and fourth episode, like, oh, she's my most hated character now.
yeah, yeah. And we honestly should have seen it from the first time we heard her name, Stormfront.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, yeah, I really like the story with Billy and his wife, and
yeah. That was
where he's been, and how he doesn't really like the kid. And, yeah, I love it. I didn't expect the wife to die at the end. To be honest,
yeah.
um, didn't expect that.
But
Yeah, I just love this season.
no, I'm pretty much in agreement with you. I'm not sure if I like it more than season one because I felt there's like one episode in season two that wasn't my favorite. Maybe because I had high hopes for it because it was the one where Billy goes back to kind of like his aunt's home and they're going to confront Black Noir there. They're kind of
Yeah,
hyping that up a bit beforehand. And that was kind of a letdown, but just the overall story for season two was great, like you said, and the finale. This might be the best episode of the series so far. I think it was
yeah,
incredible, and talk about great payoffs to the story threads for season two. I mean, that fight between Starlight, Kimiko, and Queen Maeve against Stormfront, that was as satisfying as a fight you could get. Was a character and a villain for the season that you just hate so much. Just seeing her get beat down by those three, it was awesome. But then just the emotional stakes, I think that this finale had too, with Billy and his wife and her son, and just how that was all going to come down and confronting Homelander in that final moment. And before they even got there, but just Stormfront choking Becca, and then Billy's doing all these cans, hitting her with a crowbar, and it's having no effect. And you can kind of see it coming based on the fact that Homelander and Stormfront were trying to convince his son, to focus his powers and have someone to hate. I mean, that's what you got to draw on to bring your powers out. And he said he doesn't have anyone to hate because he's been so isolated. So as soon as Stormfront was choking Becca, I knew, I think Ryan's his name. His powers were going to come to a forefront here because obviously he's growing hatred for Stormfront for hurting his mother right there. But it was still an awesome moment. I didn't care if I knew that was going to happen. It was still great. And then to see the after effect of this Stormfront just totally burnt to a crisp. I mean, it was pretty much very similar to Anakin on Mustafar with what happened to her. But again, the tragic side of Ryan killing his mother in the process too, and just great acting from Carl Urban there as his reaction, just being that, that stone cold pretty much person who kind of has that attitude where he only cares about himself, or he tries to put all that on display, but we know that's not the case, and just a humanizing moment for him there, just him reacting, losing the love of his life there, and knowing that it was caused by her son, who, like he said, he wasn't really fond of in the first place, and it looked like he was going to try to get some type of vengeance on it because he was grabbing that crowbar there, and it looked like he was going to go after him before Homelander showed up, but obviously the better side of Billy prevailed and was going to take him in. Obviously, with how things ended, he's not going to stay with him. I was wondering if that was going to be something they're going to go for season 3, where it's going to be Billy kind of training Ryan here in his own way to control his powers, but he's going to leave him with some government officials. But it was just a great moment of that confrontation between them and Homelander, and then Queen Maeve shows up and threatening Homelander, showing finally that she's not afraid of him and what she'll do if she doesn't leave her alone, Billy and Ryan alone, and just everything, and just how important it is for Homelander to be loved by everyone more than anything else. It just shows what type of villain he really is. So just all these things came together just for a fantastic finale and an end to a really good season. Another highlight of season 2 for me, I just love the episode when they're on the boat and the Deep confronts them with the whale, and they have whole scenario of just plowing right through the whale, and they have to run from the Seven. That was a great episode. And I will say the weakest aspect to me of season 2 was the subplot with the Deep and A-Train and that whole Church of the Collective.
The cult thing.
Yeah. It was like, it kind of went to some wacky place, especially with the Gills talking to him in that one episode. It was just a subplot I just really didn't get into for the most part until A-Train got in there and then was able to expose Stormfront with the files they had. So that was kind of the weakest aspect of it. But other than that, you just really get invested with these characters, especially on the boy side. They're just all people you want to root for, and then on the hero/villain side with the Seven, just characters and villains you love to hate. So it's just a great dynamic that this show has established for the first 2 seasons, and I can't wait for season 3 to get going, because definitely did not see that reveal of who the head popper was. That
congresswoman, I did not see that coming.
Nope.
I thought it was the girl from the asylum.
Yeah, me too, because she was displaying those powers.
Yeah. So sort of like, doing her own thing, but they've, is she a supervillain? Is she a good guy?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
who is she?
Exactly. The way you don't know exactly, because she took out some hero characters too. She took out that agent in the first episode who they worked with in season 1. And so it's not, I mean, that's the big question. I've heard some theories that she's actually working with Vought and the new head of the company there. I forget his name, but he still played brilliantly by Giancarlo Esposito. So is she working for him, or she has her own agenda? I'm just kind of thinking she's someone who has her own agenda, is not playing on anyone's side, but don't know what her end game is. And it's going to be interesting to see now, knowing that she has those powers, and she's obviously not a fully good person, but now Huey's going to be working directly with her. So it should make for some interesting scenarios for season 3.
Yeah, because that's what I was wondering. Is like, is the Congresswoman thing just like a cover for her real plan? Is she trying to infiltrate the Congress, or the government, or something? Or is she trying to like get Vought, some secret deal or something? But yeah, I did not expect her to be the head popper, as you call her.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great twist at the end.
Yeah, I was wondering, are they going to reveal that with this finale? That's like a story thread they're going to say for the third season, but nope, we got the reveal, and yet it's still serving up some interesting story threads for season 3. So yeah, I can't wait. should be good, but again, one of those things where it's going to be a little bit of a longer wait from season 1 to season 2 because of COVID. I think they said it's supposed to be shooting sometime in the spring of 2021, so I have a feeling we might not get it till at the earliest late 2021, but probably 2022.
Yeah, definitely. I'd probably give this season a 4 out of 5 head poppers.
Yeah. 4 out of 5 head pops. Yeah. I'd probably be with you on that too. Another just very solid entry into the series.
Yeah.
Now,
so-
I haven't read any of the comics, but I've watched like YouTube videos of stuff that what happens in the comics. Are you aware of like some of the big reveals of what happens to certain characters from the comics?
No, because I only read the first omnibus, I guess you could say, edition of the comic, and it's pretty much season 1.
Okay.
That's all I know. Yeah.
So you don't know who Black Noir really is in the comics?
No, I don't. Who is he?
Well, do you want me to say it?
Yeah. I don't care. Yeah.
Okay, because honestly, I think the series is going to go in a different direction from what I've seen so far. But in the comics, Black Noir is actually a clone of Homelander. It was
what?
Yeah, he was someone that Vought created to, in case Homelander went astray or went rogue, they'd have someone who can take him down. But it's pretty much the same version of Homelander. It's like he looks the same, has the same powers, and just as strong, but he's just keeping his identity a secret, and it kind of makes Homelander go crazy as he finds that out. So
crazier than he was in this season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you saw, but he had that scene at the house with that shapeshifter guy.
I know. He's obviously not the most stable hero, so that would explain why they would have someone on standby to take him out, but to be another version of Homelander is kind of questionable. but I don't think they're going to go that route the way some of the stuff they showed, because a little bit we got of Black Noir, the way he, in the first episode of season 2, where he's taking out that soup terrorists, as they're called, where he was in that big explosion and he had obviously some facial wounds and you saw the explosion damage on his face. I don't think that would actually damage Homelander, being the Superman type character that he is. He would be able to withstand a blast that strong.
Yeah, you're right. Huh.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what direction they go with that.
I'm just thinking about that. Like, I guess they're not. Yeah, but they wouldn't just have him as a guy, right? It's just like some random guy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be some big reveal, but something different than what the comics did.
Oh, and also that fire starter guy.
Lamplighter, yeah.
Lamplighter, right.
Formerly Iceman.
Formerly Iceman. So he, if I'm getting this right, he was a double agent for the boys and Vought and the Seven, right?
Yeah, I think, but not by choice. I think he was kind of forced to by the boys.
Yeah.
In their group, but eventually,
right. And then he was supposed to kill that woman, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he ended up killing her kids instead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to straighten that out. I kind of forgot his story.
Okay.
Kind of a weird exit. I expected him to to last longer in the show and the series and stuff. But he decides to become like Anakin, minus the suit.
There's a lot of Anakin parallels in this season. I think that would have been kind of cool if the group of the boys had a superhero with them for a little bit. I know Starlight occasionally works with him, especially the last few episodes of the season, but I thought it would have been interesting, the dynamic, especially with the relationship he has with Frenchie and just how they hate each other, especially Frenchie to him for what happened. But wasn't meant to be, as he wanted to end things in a dramatic fashion in his mind anyway.
Do you think Stormfront's coming back?
Homelander made a comment where they're keeping her locked up. Maybe not for season 3, but I think eventually she'll show up again. I don't know if she has any healing abilities, but she's probably going to look different or have some cybernetic implants or something to have her walk about again. But I think we'll definitely see her before the series is over.
Yeah. But yeah, I loved this season 2. I was totally into it.
Same.
In fact, I was so into it that I didn't finish Doom Patrol yet. Season 2.
Gotcha. Well, not quite as strong as season 2 of The Boys is, but still an enjoyable season and continuation of the series from season 1. But The Boys is just might be one of the best shows on TV, right? Or TV shows going right now.
Yeah, it's TV.
It's just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
All right, good call on bringing that up. Now, it kind of makes me think I probably should have had that maybe be our feature topic, but good that we got to talk about it at the end anyway still. So, so I guess that's going to do it for this episode. And as always, I'll throw it to you, Dane, for the outro, if you're not too rusty.
Okay, yeah, I don't have the information in front of me, Tim, but all I'll say is let's go over to BatmanUniverse.net, Facebook.com/BatmanUniverse, Twitter handles at BatmanUniverse. Tim's Twitter handle is at TimG311. My Twitter handle is at Dane Says Banana. Show's Twitter handles at Bat-Fans Podcast. And the email address for the show is batfanswithoutpants@gmail.com. So with that, we see it at the end of every single episode, Tim.
We love each and every one of you with all of our head-popping hearts.
The head popper. I hope her name is the head popper.
It's got to be now. It's got to be a soup name.
Yeah. I want it to be the head popper. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time, everybody.